Continuing through Edexcel's higher tier paper 2 GCSE maths from 2020. This is question 21 and it's a question about graph transformations. So here it says we're given the curve of the equation y equals f of x shown on this grid, and we've got to sketch the graph of the curve with the equation y equals f of and then minus x rather than x. So really, if we've got that, that is just a reflection in the y-axis. So all we need to do is just reflect this curve in the y-axis, and we just have to be very careful about some of the sort of specific points we've got. So if we just sort of went a bit artistic and just went like that and said, oh, that looks like a reflection, that actually wouldn't do it. We've got to get some of the specific points. So this point here, we can see, so that's a maximum point there, or turning point in the graph, and that's going to end up there. And this point here, which is a local minimum, if you're doing A-level maths later on, that will be a familiar term, that will go to there. So that's the same distance on the other side. And also this point here will go to there because it's 4 squares on the other side. So it's important to get them points in, and then we can just try and draw a curve as well as we possibly can. Hopefully better than the one I've done. And that's the correct reflection, but emphasizing these important coordinates. So that's part A done. Part B, we've actually got another graph transformation, and it says that this curve here, which is actually curve C, so it's important to make sure we know which one we're talking about. So it's this one, has been transformed by a translation to take it to curve S, so this one. And the way we can actually do the transformation or translation is to note that this point here, 1,6, has been translated to this point here, 4,6. So it's actually a translation in the x direction of +3. And whenever we do a translation, if a graph was translated by, if I write it as a vector, if a graph was translated by a, 0, which means it's been moved by a representing a number in the x direction, then its function would actually be the function of x minus a, which means, and note the sign difference there, that's positive, so that's negative. It's the opposite sign to the direction that it's moved. So that means we would replace x in our equation by x minus a, whatever a turns out to be. Now in our case, what we've got is a translation of 3, 0. So that represents a vector which is moving by 3 in the positive x direction. So that means that our function is actually x minus 3 because we have to use the opposite sign. So if we apply that to the equation there, because we're asked for the equation for S, then that just means replacing anywhere we see x in the equation, we're just replacing it, and brackets are very useful here, just by x minus 3. So we can see we had an x there which was multiplied by the 2. So instead of writing x, we're just going to write x minus 3. And then the x squared, I'm just going to use a bracket, so I'm going to just write x minus 3 and then square it. And that's it actually, because we could multiply this out like the square brackets and simplify it all, but unless it's asking us to put it in a particular format in the question, we want to just leave it like that because we don't want to waste any time or make any potential errors. So we can just leave it like that as our final answer. So I hope that's been helpful to you, and if it has, please give our video a thumbs up and also consider subscribing to our channel. Thanks for watching.